Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, new requirements for travel to the Bahamas. You got the story. New details on Monday's killing of a young mother and her daughter. Plus, police hit the ground nationwide.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Beginning November 1st, the mandatory 14-day quarantine for people coming into the Bahamas will be discontinued, and visitors, returning citizens, and residents will be able to move about freely beyond the confines of their hotel or other accommodations. The Ministry of Tourism, in a statement this afternoon, advised that while the Bahamas is still set for an October 15th reopening of the tourism sector, the vacation-in-place requirement at 14 days will continue to the end of the month. The new protocols will require visitors and returning residents to obtain a RT-PCR swab test no more than 7 days prior to their travel. Upon arrival, travelers will be required to take a rapid antigen test, and then again 4 days after arrival in the country if they are staying longer than 4 days. The cost of the rapid test on and after arrival will be included in the cost of the health travel visa, which is required for entry into the country. Children under the age of 10, pilots and crew of commercial flights who remain overnight in the Bahamas are exempt from obtaining the test requirement. Well, Police Commissioner Paul ROLLE has confirmed that the young mother who was slain in her Nassau Village home early Monday morning had filed a domestic complaint about the suspect they now have in custody with police the day before she and her daughter were killed. He said officers spent the entire night before the murders looking for him.
We had several units all over the city trying to find this culprit.
According to Police Commissioner Paul ROLLE, the night before 30-year-old Alicia Sawyer and her 8-year-old daughter Ednique Wallace were found dead in their bed. Police were combing the streets in search of 36-year-old Trayvon Stevens. ROLLE said the day before she was murdered, Sawyer had reported the suspect to the police.
All night they were out in search for him until we found him. At the time when we found him, unfortunately, this woman was found dead.
Police released a wanted bulletin for Stevens shortly after the murder and confirmed that he was wanted for questioning in relation to the incident. He was captured the next day. But ROLLE was asked about the process police follow when a report is made.
Unlike when you have two persons in the home, they were not living together. When you have two persons in the home, one abuse the other, we separate. Okay, and then we can then get those separation and get social services involved, and we get court order forcing them. We do that all the time.
Family members described the young mother as a kind-hearted person who would give her last to anyone in need. Police have called the crime a domestic matter. Without going into much detail, the police commissioner says police's main role in a case where the parties do not live together is to protect the complainant by apprehending the person who was reported.
I think the short of it is there are certain provisions in law that prevents where they're living in the same home. How much then do you expect the police then to do? And those kind of things, we talk about protection. The protection is to try and catch the culprit.
Well, senators say now is the time for more attention to be given to legislation aimed at better protecting women and children. Here's Jasmine Brown.
The topic of violence against women and children was raised by Senate President Dr. Mildred Hall Watson during the beginning of Thursday morning's proceedings. Dr. Hall Watson told senators that this particular type of crime has become a scourge in local communities.
Violence against women and children. This has been present for many years, and every time an incident like this comes up, everybody's hackles rise. And as we go about our daily lives, we forget. But I think we have come to a point in time where we can no longer just forget. We need, as a community, not as a political organization or one particular church, we need, as a community, to begin to develop methodologies by which we can assist in decreasing this kind of activity.
The Senate President's comments came days after a mother and her 8-year-old daughter were killed in what police believe was a domestic incident. Police said the victims were discovered shot to death early Monday morning as they lie in bed in their Nassau Village home. The incident came 1 week after a 7-year-old boy was killed when police said he was caught in the crossfire of a shooting in the same area. Hall-Watson said the fact of the matter is the country can do better, as she insisted parliamentarians and senators should look at how legislation can help deter violent crimes involving women and kids. Her statements prompted Attorney General Carl Bethel to also weigh in.
And called on all of us as a people to do more to uphold the value of life, to uphold the sanctity of women and children, and called on us as a nation to do more. We really must do more.
Opposition Senator Dr. Michael DARVILLE insisted it's an issue that should not be made political, as he pledged the Progressive Liberal Party would support the government in the fight to protect women and kids.
The Progressive Liberal Party would stand by any means of any piece of legislation or support to the government that would help in the fight against this tremendous ill that is now affecting our community.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, a service of thanksgiving for the recovery and return of PLP leader Philip Davis quickly turned into something more like a political rally last night, ending with a Junkanoo rush out. Bertha McDermott was there and has a story.
It was originally promoted as a Thanksgiving ceremony, but quickly took the form of a rally with a small Junkanoo parade following. However, the party leader defending the gathering, saying all COVID-19 safety protocols.
It started out as a simple service to herald the recovery of party leader Philip Davis from COVID-19. But eventually took a turn.
PLP! PLP!
Supporters who gathered under Adelaide Primary School's pavilion were socially distanced when things started. However, as the night went on, the numbers grew and those in the surrounding area got closer together.
As you notice, people walk socially distanced. They're all wearing masks, as you can note. We emphasized that this is supposed to be a religious service to welcome me back. And of course, I had to say what we had to say. I'm not aware of the Junkanoo rush out. I don't know. That is something that must have been added on. I didn't understand it to be the plan. If you look at our program, it doesn't speak to a Junkanoo rush out.
Golden Isles MP Vaughan Miller, whose recent shift to the party was also celebrated last night, sought to defend the service and the Junkanoo rush out.
I can only speak from where I sat and what I saw. The chairs were spread out to meet those protocols for social distancing. So you're referring for persons outside of the pavilion? Okay, I honestly can't speak to that. I didn't see it on the program, and I wasn't informed of that. Personally, for me, I love Junkanoos.
Miller, who was elected as an FNM MP but quit the party in December 2019, announced his decision to join the PLP last week. At that time, he also said it was not certain that he would receive the PLP nomination for the Golden Isles constituency. However, at Wednesday's event, Miller struck a different tone.
I am the incumbent. I've been in conversations since that statement came out. I've been in conversations, and I'm satisfied that I will be in Golden Isles. I will work hard, and our teams will be on the ground soon, and we have every intention of recapturing that seat for the Progressive Liberal Party.
Miller also asserted that he has received the unofficial all-clear from the area's former MP, Michael Halkitis. However, Davis told reporters there is still no guarantee.
Actively meeting and discussing issues concerning candidates for all the constituencies, and this will be one that will be discussed in due course. Yes, not guaranteed.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bertha McDermott.
Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson is accusing the government of attacking democracy and stifling the voice of the people after he claims he was not allowed to speak in the House of Assembly yesterday. Georgia Bain has the story.
Robinson took to social media to voice his displeasure with Wednesday's House proceedings, which were slated to debate amendments to the Bail Act and the Juries Act. Robinson was scheduled to speak at 3:30. However, that did not happen, as those bills were passed before Robinson's allotted time to speak.
Was given to myself as the Member of Parliament to indicate that the House was going to move to the third reading and passing even before I had my opportunity to deliver my presentation on behalf of the people of Bain and Grantstown who elected me to serve for them. It is very unfortunate. I am highly disappointed, and I see it as an attack on democracy, and the actions can be likened to the stifling of the voice of the Bahamian people.
Robinson says he was not personally informed of the changes made to the House schedule and feels that it could have been handled differently.
I understand that the next speaker would have been an opposition member whom was not there. In those cases, what should have been done was to call the members of parliament for the afternoon session and indicate to those members of parliament that the House will now move into the afternoon session of the debate, and those who still intend to debate, they should make their way back to the House within a specified period of time. That did not happen.
During the recording, Robinson delivered his intended speech as he called what happened unacceptable to the people of his constituency.
And the fact that nobody indicated or reached out to me as the Member of Parliament scheduled to speak at 3:30 p.m. to say anything about changing of the time slots or the speaking order was an indictment to the people of Bain and Grantstown that I do not support.
The vocal MP was fired from his parliamentary post in 2018 after he voted against the government's proposed hike in value-added tax. He was later reinstated this July. He encouraged young Bahamians not to be afraid to let their voices be heard.
Do not let anybody make you feel as if you are insufficient because of your age or because of the position that you are in. Everyone have a voice, every single one, and everyone deserves to be respected. Do not allow politics or anything else to turn you into what you are not.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks, Giorgio. More news on the way, but here's a first look at weather with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Outside our studios, after a nice warm day, temperatures up into the 90s. We're settling into the mid-80s. 84 is our current temperature under mostly fair skies. You winds out of the southeast at 4 knots. Feels like temperature around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. On our satellite, pair of our systems affecting our area. Tropical wave moving to the south and the frontal boundary across the northwest Bahamas triggering some showers and thunderstorms. We will continue to see those activities throughout the rest of the evening. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, a nationwide police operation begins. Plus, a day of giving back for officers as they hit communities prepping students for back to school. Stay tuned.
Catch Gunbay Kids on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Gunbay Kids is a show about learning, interacting, and having fun. Gunbay Kids is made for kids by kids right here in the Bahamas.
Sit back, here we go, it's a Gunbay day.
Gunbay Kids!
Police were on just about every main intersection throughout New Providence today as officers launched a nationwide operation aimed at disrupting criminal activity in the country. Police could be seen at several roundabouts ticketing traffic offenders, carrying out stop and search exercises, and apprehending those suspected of breaking the law.
We have sectors. I'm in charge of sector 3, where we have 28 officers on some 8 points. Our main focus is to ensure that persons adhere to the safety rules. Persons not walking around without their mask on. We have citation books that we issue persons without their mask.
Despite some social media accounts of people reporting that they were being booked for their vehicle's license not being up to date, Chief Superintendent B.K. Bonamy said that was not the case, as motorists have up to 60 days to have their vehicle's license once the state of emergency ends, as expected at the end of this month. Officers only want to make sure vehicles are insured, among other things.
All of those things. All of the persons found using their cell phone, they will be reported. Persons driving in a manner dangerous to the public, they will be reported for all those factors.
While officers were on the ground at intersections in Grand Bahama as well, police checked vehicles and ticketed motorists who were suspected of breaking traffic laws.
Morning. How you doing? Listen live. Be good. Be good.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Solomon Cash was in Grand Bahama for the operation and said they are encouraging the public to partner with the police in stomping out crime.
I'm not aware of any establishment being open after 10 p.m., but I can tell you, if that is happening, I can assure you, we have a covert team who's on the road currently in Grand Bahama. They will be dealing with those establishments. And as a matter of fact, if we know of any of these establishments, we will ask you to report that to us. I have a good crew of managers here. They are capable of dealing with situations like that.
Well, Police Commissioner Paul ROLLE led a team of officers through several communities today, handing out school supplies and even offering haircuts and hair braiding as they get ready to return to school. Police Commissioner Paul ROLLE greeting a group of elderly women on Pinewood Gardens Park as he handed out vouchers, hot dogs, and school supplies to those residents during a day of community service.
This is countrywide. We have every commander on every island in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is out today in the community interacting with their persons.
It feels excellent. It gives us a safety and secured feeling to see the police working in the neighborhood and encouraging our children. It is a good thing that they're doing, and I'm proud of them.
Just before that, police were at the area's elementary school, Cleveland Enyas Primary, where police donated 30 tablets and laptops to be given to students who will be needing them for virtual learning.
Like I said, this will go a long way because we're first addressing the students who are on the National Lunch Program, but we have a lot of students whose parents at this time who've lost their jobs, who's not working persons, who work in the hotel, the taxi cab drivers. There are so many persons, even the small man, who do not have a job, and school is opening next weekend. This device is really necessary.
And just before that, police were through Kiki Street, just off of Farrington Road, handing out boxes of food items to people in that community. Carrie Elizabeth was outside with her grandson and said it was great seeing the officers in the area.
Partner with us came forward and we brought you these are some grocery items that should be able to help you out.
I have to commend you all for the job that you're doing. It's not like when I was growing up, when the only thing you had was a little boy who might throw a little stone. These are dangerous times. And we all have to be together because it's just not my country or your country, it's our country, and we have to get it back.
Still to come, a man pleads for help to get life-saving heart surgery. Stay tuned.
Catch Gunbay Kids on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Gunbay Kids is a show about learning, interacting, and having fun. Gunbay Kids has made for kids by kids right here in the Bahamas.
Sit back, here we go, it's a Gunbay day.
Gunbay Kids!
Senators are expected to debate the bail and juries amendment bills next week Thursday. The House of Assembly yesterday passed the Bail Bill 2019. The bill increases the jurisdiction of the magistrates' courts to grant bail in certain cases and to provide the establishments of rules for regulating the procedures for applying for bail. Attorney General and Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Carl Bethel.
Madam President, I beg leave to move for the first reading of a bill for an act to amend the Bail Act to increase the jurisdiction of a magisterial court to grant bail in certain cases, to provide for the making of rules for regulating the procedure for applying for bail and for connected purposes. Let me foreshadow that the House, this House, the Senate, on its rising will be adjourned to a fixed date, that of the 8th of October, at which time we will debate the two bills which were tabled and read for the first time this morning.
A father of two is pleading for help with raising over $100,000 for much-needed heart surgery. Jillian Gray has his story.
Things have gone from bad to worse for Terrance Wilson, who has heart failure. He and his wife have not worked for months, and they find it hard-pressed to find the $175,000 needed for his life-saving heart surgery.
I still try to be strong. Yeah, you know, sometimes I don't even express the pain that I'm having, you know, because I don't want them to see that I'm always in pain.
Wilson said they've booked his surgery at Cleveland Hospital, but with no insurance, the hospital must have the full payment before the surgery can be conducted. The father of two said he tosses all night with little relief. He can't even walk to his front gate without gasping for breath. His doctor recently told him if the surgery is not conducted soon, his heart condition would be fatal.
He said to me, Mr. Wilson, we have to get this done right away, because there's a tearing on my heart, and he said if that pops, that's it for me.
Wilson's wife, Jodie, said it's been rough dealing with his condition and taking care of their kids. She's not been able to get their son ready for virtual school on Monday, as she says she simply does not have the funds for a new laptop. Her daughter also notices that something is wrong with their dad.
My daughter, she was saying, Mommy, where Daddy? Say Daddy laying down, because she was asking for him. The children, they just asked for him because, you know, they used to see them being like this. So I was trying to get a laptop for him, but I didn't really have the funds to get it for him. And, you know, you didn't really have the funds to get it for him because then you still deal with mortgage and banks still calling. It ain't easy, trust me.
The family has set up a GoFundMe account and will hold a cookout on Saturday in aid of Terrance's medical fund. Wilson said it's only his trust in God that keeps him going. He lives by the motto, as long as there's life, there's hope.
Even though I know it's bad, I still put my trust in God that he'll keep me until time to go do the surgery.
The GoFundMe name is Terrance Wilson and Jodie Wilson. That's a GoFundMe. And the account number is 716-000-9486. That's Jodie Wilson, Bank of the Bahamas.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Still to come, Marcellus Hall has all the highlights in sports. Stay tuned.
Catch Gunbay Kids on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Gunbay Kids is a show about learning, interacting, and having fun. Gunbay Kids has made for kids by kids right here in the Bahamas.
Sit back, here we go, it's a Gunbay day.
Gunbay Kids!
A disappointing Game 1 for the Miami Heat in the finals last night and the start of Week 4 for the NFL. Marcellus Hall reports.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals in the books. Disappointing start if you're a Heat fan. Great start if you're a Laker fan, as they now take a 1-0 lead. Let's get you caught up on how that turned out. Also give you a preview of Thursday Night Football. NBA Finals Game 1 last night saw the LA Lakers overcome a 13-point deficit early on. They then took a commanding 32-point lead before cruising to a 116-98 win. Anthony Davis leading the Lakers in scoring with 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. LeBron James, 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. Lakers with 5 players in double figures. For the Heat, Jimmy Butler had 28 points and 5 assists. Kendrick Nunn added 18 points off the bench. Meanwhile, Week 4 of the NFL season starts tonight with a Thursday night matchup between the two winless teams, as 0-3 Denver faces off against 0-3 New York Jets. Game comes your way on the NFL Network at 8:20 this evening. So there you have it. Thursday Night Football all set. We'll give you highlights and details coming up for you tomorrow. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marcellus Hall.
And that's a look at news. We turn it back over to meteorologist Greg Thompson for the extended weather forecast.
Thanks again, Kyle. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your second look at weather. On our satellite, frontal boundary across the northwest Bahamas, generating some showers and thunderstorms across that area. We also have a tropical wave moving across the southeast Bahamas. Expect this front boundary to stall out across the islands, generating more showers and thunderstorms into the weekend. Your boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas. Winds will be out of the north to northeast at 10 to 15 knot, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, while in the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag for you guys. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. And now a look at your extended forecast through Tuesday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everyone.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by Royal Fidelity, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Remember, you can catch Our News on the go with the RevGo Play app. Stay tuned for a brand new episode of On the Record with host Jerome Sawyer. Have a good evening, Bahamas.